All right, let's fire it up and see if our steering fluid goes everywhere. But let's hope not. What is up, Mischief Mafia? Welcome to the channel. It's Joel, and today we got something pretty exciting planned for you. We should be on Project F250 here. And I know, those of you who are excited about the project going, when are you going to get back on that thing? Very soon. I know I keep promising that, but something popped up. We're actually going to be working on that today. Something popped up that I think you guys are going to be pretty excited about too. So we are going to take one more weekend and get this new project taken care of. Then we'll be on F250 next video. So, all right, so what do we have? We have this. This is a 2002 Subaru Outback. It has only 200,000 miles on it, and it runs fantastic. This car actually belongs to my parents. And you'd think that, my mom's about 75 years old, and you'd think that, yeah, it was driven by a little old lady on Sundays. Sort of, except that my mom is more like the little old lady from Pasadena than she is the little old lady in the cartoons that drives super slow. Didn't Mom enter your Nissan pickup truck into a Mexican road rally one time?
Yeah, actually the rally ran from Redondo Beach's South Bay Center to Ensenada, Mexico.
Huh. Didn't she get the truck up on two wheels at one point?
Oh, you heard about that? Yeah, actually she did.
However, my dad's a ex-Mercedes mechanic, and so this thing has been taken very well care of because she drives it hard, and but she loves it, so she takes really good care of it, and my dad takes really good care of it maintenance-wise. So again, only 200,000 miles. That's nothing for a Subaru. This thing is not even broken in yet. Everything works on it. It's got like the transmission works fantastic. The engine fires up perfect. It's got power seats. Those work great. They're heated. That part works great. Power windows all work. Everything works good. It only does have one problem. It is missing. No, I'm sorry. It's not missing anything. It is. It's got a bad power steering pump. So my dad gave me the power steering pump and all the lines to fix it. So we got those right there. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get that fixed up for him. It's getting just to be a little too much for my dad, and he's a little wrapped up with other projects. So we're going to get it taken care of for him. Let's see. Yeah, that's all we got to do. Power steering pump, and then, whoop, it's dark. Hang on. Okay, power steering pump, and we got lines too, and a new reservoir. So we'll get that all fixed up, and then we'll just detail the heck out of it. And then we're going to go ahead and sell it for my parents and see if we can get them more money than they were expecting on it, because that'd be a nice surprise for them. So let's get it pulled into the garage, and let's get that power steering pump changed. All right, let's go. All right, so here's the engine compartment on this thing, and we need to find the power steering pump. When I first glanced at it, I thought that this was a power steering line. I thought this was the power steering pump. But then I saw that line and I thought, oh, it's one of those newfangled power steering and air conditioning pumps. Probably not. So I don't know where the power steering pump is. I'm going to go YouTube it. Hang on. All right, that was very helpful. I see why you guys like watching YouTube videos. Power steering pump is over on the side here. Right there. So we're going to go ahead and pull this intake, and then we'll pull this cover, and then we should be able to get this stuff off. We'll pull that belt off, and then I believe all we got to do is pull off the bolts and stuff. So we'll set up the other camera and talk it through for you guys so that you can see what's going on as well. And we'll get this power steering pump replaced, and then this thing is ready to go other than the paint. So power steering pump, let's go. All right, so first thing we got to do is take this air cleaner off. So looks like two 10mm bolts. Get our handy dandy bolt tray. We'll pull these two 10s off, and then we'll undo one of the screws up there, or maybe not. Yep, that pulls right across there. We don't got to undo any screws at all. We'll just undo these two bolts, and looks like there actually might be a third bolt up here on the top. And this smacks of my dad, oh, it's not tight, smacks of my dad having lost it found one that fit, put it back on, and then apparently he got distracted, didn't tighten it, but that's okay. We're good. It didn't go anywhere, and we'll tighten it back up when we put it down there. So then this comes up, this comes off, and there you go, whole thing comes out. And just like we do with everything these days, we'll set that in the back of the F-250 and it will hold it for us. So looks like power steering reservoir right here. I believe we have a new one of those since this one's hose is leaking right there. Hose that comes over here, actual power steering pump itself right down there. And I think we'll be able to maneuver that out from with around the upper radiator hose there. We're definitely gonna have to take this off though, because I can't see anything to work on that. So let's pull this. Okay, so we're gonna pull this off, and hey, look at that, it's a 10-2. This is a little different than the Ranger, where every single bolt was a completely different size. And we'll undo this cover right here, which looks like it's held on by that bolt and this nut. We'll go ahead and pull that off. And then this plastic cover that's covering the belt and the AC compressor comes off. And then that appears to be spot welded to this alternator bracket. So I think we're gonna have to pull this bolt for the alternator bracket just to get this out of the way. So that's odd. I don't see any reason why they would need to do that since it's bolted. Why would you spot weld something and bolt it together? I don't think that's it's definitely spot welded. So all right, we'll just pull that out of the way, no big deal. There was a bolt on the end of it, which now we've dropped. Never fear, we have our magnet. Voila! That's nice. I'm glad we didn't lose that. That would have been a pain to get back. So just pull that out of the way. And let's see if we can walk this thing off. Oh, hey, look at that. That's very Subaru. I was very surprised that we would have to take that thing all the way off, because that's not typically how Japanese stuff is built. This is though, so I guess I should have thought of that, but no big deal. That's out of the way, and we'll slide that back in. Let's see. This has multiple belts on it, and we need to adjust this belt down so we can take it off. This is the adjuster right here, and I think if we tighten this, and that'll go down. Nope. Loosen it and it'll go down. There we go. All right, and I think that's enough, a little bit more. Okay, and there we go. That belt's out of the way, and it just comes right off. I have like thousands of dollars worth of tools, and for some reason this is the only pair of pliers I have. This is a really cheap pair of Korean pliers that the cable guy left in my old house after he came out. I called him, told him to come back and get him. He never came for them, so I hung on to them. But if they're worth $3, I'll be surprised. And it's the only pair of pliers that I've got. I need to buy some nicer pliers. Those of you that are part of the Mischief Mafia and watch the channel all the time have heard us tell you that the easiest way to break loose these hoses is to twist them and then pull them off. So this twisted very easily, and I think that's going to come right off. And pull this one off. It's being a little bit harder, but there's a lot of fluid all over the place. It's lubing it up. So, all right, that's off and trying to leak. I'm going to let that go ahead and leak down onto the, there's a plastic cover underneath the engine. I'm going to go ahead and let that leak down onto the cover. We'll just remember that that's full of fluid when we go to work on that part of it. Well, I don't know if I'm not searching YouTube properly or what, but there's only one video on replacing this power steering pump, and the guy who made it didn't narrate, and we get down to the part about the pump actually coming out, it just disappears. So and I watched it twice. It's in there, and then in the next frame, it's completely gone, and he puts the new one in. So I don't know if once you get all the bolts out, it just miraculously disappears and you don't got to worry about anything. I'm thinking that's probably not the case. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull the hoses and the rest of the bolts that I can find. We'll figure this thing out, and then you guys will know, and then we'll put this video up, and then everybody who wants to will have a video that's narrated. So let's pull these hoses and see if we can figure out the rest of this. Okay, well, I'm starting to think that the easiest way to get this pump out is take this entire bracket out, and if that turns out to not be the case, we'll erase this part of the video and pretend like we never did it and that we knew what we were doing all along. So let's try pulling this off of here, but not with that. And it's too bad we're not replacing the alternator, because I think we got to pretty much take this sucker out to get to what we're working on here. All right. He's still hot, so we're being careful not to touch anything on that. But that gets us to this bracket right here. There's a handy dandy wobbler to get down inside here. And there's one more bolt on the bottom. Alright, there we go. Okay, I'm going to try not to lose the bolts. Oh, there it went. Okay, so I don't know if that's the preferred method of doing it. I don't know if that's how these guys flat rate it over at Subaru. If you're a Subaru tech and you're watching this, although I don't know why you would be because you know how to do it, but if you are, and this is not the way you guys do it, comment down below. But that's out of there. We didn't have to pull the upper radiator hose and dump coolant all over the place. So even if this is a little bit of a roundabout way of doing it, I actually like it better because that wasn't hard to get to at all, and it's much cleaner than dumping coolant all over everything. I'm getting real tired of dumping coolant all over the garage. All right, let's move over to the bench. Okay, so you can see, maybe you can't, here, take a look. You can see the way this power steering pump is in here. This bolt at the back is definitely holding it in. And the only thing holding it in from the front is those two bolts that we took out already. The one that goes in right there and right there. Actually, you can see them both. So I think what you're supposed to do is go ahead and pull this whole thing out just like we did. And then you change the pump on the bench. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and change the pump on the bench. Let's get you guys a better view. Yeah, there's no way we would have been able to break this on the car, not a chance. Alright, so that comes off of there, and this is that little connector that I was telling you that was unplugged already. It looks like we're going to need this, and the bracket. So we'll go ahead, and this is a Torx bit. It's a 30. All right, and we did get new seals, new gaskets, new seals and gaskets with this. Seals, gaskets, and washers. Okay, so that's that, and then we got to get this unplugs. I want to take this sensor out. I don't know what this sensor is, and like I said, it was unplugged in the car. I'm assuming it works, although my dad might have had it unplugged because it doesn't. But we will plug it back in and see if we get a light, and if we do, I'll just go grab one of these sensors and replace it. This is pretty easy to get to even when this is all buttoned up and back in the car. Bandy, Bandy, bar. Okay, here we go. That's out. Still full of fluid. This does not quite fit in here. There is a little insert right here. I don't believe it's machined in. I do believe it's pressed in. I think it needs to get pushed back just a little bit. All right, we got that moved out of the way. And this will now slide in there like it's supposed to. Then, when we tighten this up, it will push that back into place and everything will be like it's supposed to be. We do need a little bit of power steering fluid to lube these up. There we go. A little bit of fluid on there just helps lubricate those seals so that they don't get cut as you're going back together. All right, guys, there we go. You can put this back on. All right, that's it. This is ready to go back together. Piece of cake. All right, that one's in but not tight. And that kind of helps with this. Let's see if we can get this one in. And again, man, you gotta hold it just like this. That's how it's gotta go in, because there's just too much stuff in the way for your thumb to be able to get down there. All right, there we go. That I can feel that tightened or went in the right spot right first try that time. So we'll get that kind of finger tight just to make sure we got that in the right spot. All right, and now we'll use a socket. Okay, that's down. And then we got one more right there, which is this guy that has the sealant on it. So we're gonna put some more sealant on him. Usually bolts with sealant on them in this area are going into water jackets. So you definitely want to put sealant back on them or that will leak. All right, that's good. And then this lower one, and that's going again. It's going into aluminum, so we don't want to be super tight. Just good and snug so it'll stay, but not so tight that we strip anything out. So there's those lower two. There we go. Again, good and tight, but not over tight. So there's that. Okay. Okay. Remembering to be very careful because he's live. There we go. Okay. Now let's put the bolt back, which, where do we put that? Right here. All right, there, that's back on. And this is our little nut for him. Okay, good. And then we get this alternator adjustment screw. That goes in right here. All right, there's that. All right, got all the hoses, the new hoses installed and the old hose transferred over. And there goes that. All right. I don't know if you guys can hear that. I hope not, because I don't want to get copyright claimed that my neighbor's having quite the party. All right, so that's done. And now we can connect our return line right here. And we'll put our hard line in right here. So this is the one that we have tons of gaskets for or washers for because everything came with one. So go ahead and put that in. And I want to make sure that this doesn't cross thread because that's a hard line. It's really easy to do on hard lines. Okay, in addition to this hose having the American end on it, it was also angled just a little bit wrong, so I just ended up having to bend the end just a touch. This everything on this job with these hoses is just real susceptible to cross threading. So tweaked the end of it a little bit and it lined up perfect, and now we're just tightening it up. All right, so that's nice and tight, or actually that's nice and down. We won't get it tight yet. We're gonna go ahead and put these screws in first so that we can get this hose to seat before we call it done. There we go, and there's two. All right, now we can tighten this up. And we don't have to worry about it being in the wrong spot for those to be able to go in. And we want to crush those crush washers just a little bit. But again, aluminum, so we're being careful. And now these 10s. There we go. All right. Then the only thing left is this return line. Pop him on. All right, that's done. Now we can put the belt back on, the power steering pump and the alternator. All right, when you're putting on the belt, double check the pulley to make sure the belt is on all the pulleys, because since it's ribbed, it'll catch one rib off and it'll feel like it's on, but it'll be off, and it'll either throw the belt or it'll sit there and just chew it up. So you don't want that. Okay, now that we got that on there, let's tighten this up. All right, that seems pretty good on the belt right there. So call that good and go ahead and tighten this up. And then we'll tighten up the alternator bracket on the other side here. And again, that nut on the back is captured, so you don't have to hold it. In two pieces. Now, you know what? We're going to leave this part off because we need to do the power steering fluid. So, there we go. All right, that goes on there, and this goes back inside here, and that is, okay, there's that. Okay, all right, that's everything except for that intake, which we're going to leave off until we get the power steering pump taken care of. Okay, so this is that Dextron 6. We're going to go ahead and pour that into the reservoir. All right. We need to get it to this line right here, but I overfilled it for the moment because I know we dumped a ton of fluid down on the ground, and yeah, the system will suck up that reservoir, and then we'll top it off and get it right. All right, let's fire it up and see if our steering fluid goes everywhere. But let's hope not. Turn the steering wheel a few times to get all that power steering fluid sucked into the system. All right, guys, that's it. This thing's all done. We need to finish getting the power steering fluid sucked into the system, but you guys don't need to watch that. It'll just take it a few more revolutions. Maybe we'll go drive it, get that all taken care of. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks so much for watching. If you did, hit that like button and subscribe, and then you'll be able to be part of the Mischief Mafia. Hit the notification bell, you know when we're hanging out. And let's see, last thing, follow us on Instagram. And we got some behind the scenes stuff on there. So thanks so much for watching, guys. We really appreciate it. We love you. Peace. Appreciate you. We love you. This is our house. It's got the 11/16 end on it. So where do we put the 11/16 wrench? So you pour your coffee in this, and then you set it down, and it doesn't get cold. It's fantastic.